I don't know how it's possible, but things are still somehow getting worse for the disrespectful IRL streamer who's been trapped in South Korea for over a year simply because he couldn't act right and thought he was above the law. And now it's become extremely obvious that his legal strategy completely failed. Obviously, there's a lot that's happened since we last covered him, but his last trial day was essentially February of 2026. Now, on April 15th comes his sentencing. So, Johnny still is currently facing 8 charges, 6 of which he's already pleaded guilty to, and he's currently fighting the last 2 charges, which are the deepfake charges. Because the dude is still facing 12.5 years in South Korean prison and has essentially been the largest moron ever while fighting this case. I mean, let's be real. If there was a big idiot contest, this dude would absolutely win. Because who in their right mind says this to the judge that has his freedom in his hands?
Shout out to President, you, the judge, prosecutor, y'all can suck my. Tell them what the charges is.
Carrying a fish and causing anxiety.
Causing anxiety by carrying a fish. Tell the judge you can suck my. I'll bring a fish to your mother's house. I don't care.
So with that in mind, this absolute genius decided it was a great idea to fight a charge that he live streamed himself doing. Because after streaming with the South Korean streamer Bong Bong, he decided to brag and show off his new Korean girlfriend. How did he do this? Well, he showed an AI-generated video of him and Bong Bong making out on his stream. This is extremely illegal in South Korea, hence why he's currently facing 8 years in prison for just that one charge. And unfortunately for him, he's facing 2 separate deepfake charges, but the maximum penalty that he can get from all of these charges is combined 12.5 years in prison. And as an American, that is a crazy amount of time for what he did. But this guy can't help himself but remove any chance of leniency from the judge by threatening the judge and his family.
Shout out to President, you, the judge, prosecutor, y'all can suck my.
By showing up to court praising their northern neighbor.
Is there anything you want to say? Do you admit the charges? Don't you want to apologize?
I love North. Hey, send this clip to the president of Korea. Send this clip. I'm talking to you, the president of Korea. You can suck my dick. I respect Kim Jong-un more than you, Lee Jae-myung, little.
And continuing to be an absolute moron in public, all while his trial is still going on.
Korea #1, yes! Korea. Oh, police? No. I'm Vigo, American.
And obviously, we've been covering his antics for almost 3 years now, and I've gone to 4 of his court dates in Seoul. But I didn't go to this one in February because Bong Bong was actually supposed to show up to the last one that I was in Seoul before the February trial. But instead, she decided to fly to Australia.
I'm talking to a lawyer, but they didn't answer. Lawyer said that I don't have to, but just in case I will go to airport. I don't know. It's so annoying. I think I don't have to, isn't it? I need to pay the fine. If I don't know, I have to pay the fine or not. There is a paper, like absence paper. I can send the absence paper, they said. The fine is 5,000 Australian dollar maximum, I think. I don't think I have to pay that much for that. That's too much.
And she's the lead witness. So I wasn't gonna bet on this woman showing up because if she didn't show up again, there would be nothing new to cover. And I'm gonna be real, it's not cheap to fly a team member and myself to Korea. I mean, we're kind of doing it for the love of the game at this point because it would be a whole lot more profitable for me to sit at home and make a commentary video. But honestly, that is not the most entertaining outcome because this is such a good story. It's a full-on train wreck that I can't even help myself from not watching. And I mean, let's be real. If I'm not focused on covering it, a whole lot of people won't even know what's happening. And it's kind of funny because it almost seems like Johnny actually missed me from this session in February because he kept on complaining to the other streamers to get the shot of him coming into the courtroom because no one else would, I guess. And this is because most people have honestly just lost interest in the case. They just want to see what the outcome is. So my understanding is there was little to no press there on the February court date. Hence why we never got the video of him getting out of a police car and entering the courthouse. But Bong Bong, the star witness, she decided to go live before the stream. So as I was sitting home and I realized she went live, I went, oh, she's actually showing up to trial. And she did so alongside of Slightly Homeless. They weren't streaming together, they were just streaming at the same time in 2 separate parts of town. And you might recognize Slightly Homeless because he was the guy who Johnny essentially stalked and chased down the street with his date at that time.
I'm giving you content, right? You want to run content in my city?
Leave me alone.
I thought you wanted to run content.
Leave me alone.
Let's make content.
Go away.
Go away. Content.
And I don't think Slightly Homeless is really on a side here. I just feel like he's at the courthouse because he's already in Korea, and that's probably the most interesting thing in his niche happening in Seoul that day. But regardless, he was kind of there to cover it, but he somehow managed to not cover anything whatsoever because he just kind of stood there on the street, bothered about not being able to live stream inside of the courthouse. And obviously, Johnny was really trying to get him to stand at the courthouse steps and live stream him going into court because, you know, Johnny wanted his big moment. And of course, he didn't do that. And Johnny didn't get the shot he wanted. And there was no journalists there. So no one saw that happening.
I'm telling you, they told me I can't, dude. And I will get you going in. Johnny wants me to be a cellmate. I know, right? I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. Just roll your window down when you're coming by if you want me to get a good shot.
I don't know who's gonna be there. Oh, fuck. No. I left my house too late. No. I think I'm gonna be late. For the court. I just go to court and just tell what happened to me. That's it. I'm very curious about what's gonna happen later.
There seems to be no hype behind this trial. I mean, absolutely nobody's here.
I met him twice, once in Thailand, once in Seoul, always on stream. And we're not like in that relationship. We maybe used to be a friend or something. Then he exposed me on the public with like about 1,000 people that I'm his girlfriend, and we sex to Korean people, and I got a lot of bad, I was kind of cancelled from the society because of that, you know what I mean? Cancelled. I was cancelled from Korean people. Like a lot of people, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people start attacking my YouTube channel, and actually like a lot of Korean people threatening me. The Korean people, a lot of Korean people who eventually like end up their life for being attacked by public.
But essentially, what do we know from the February trial going into his sentencing? Well, despite it having been almost 4 months, Johnny Somali's first deepfake charge, the one with Youngman that was supposed to be dropped, has not been dropped. So no official agreement has been entered into the record in either case. So considering it's already been 4 months, one can only assume that that charge is there to stay. And we got some confirmation on this as well, because on February 3rd, 2026, Hank submitted a request for clarification on the scope of the agreement to the court in the Youngman trial. And this to date is the only official court action that has taken place in either trial regarding this agreement. So this is definitely an indication that Johnny is worried about if this agreement is being held up by the court. And if you don't remember, the background on that was on October 22nd, 2025, Johnny and Hank, they signed a tentative handwritten agreement in court with Youngman to mutually drop charges. How do we know this? Well, I showed up and we found out in person. And at the time of the agreement, legal experts predicted that the official agreement would be signed and sealed within 2 weeks. And here we essentially have the text of the agreement, which is written in Korean, so we kind of have to translate it. But essentially it says, agreement, Lee Young-chan, Ramsey Khalid Ismail, and Yoo Hong-jo no longer wish to pursue mutual punishment for all criminal cases that have occurred between them on October 29th, 2025. His lawyer notified the court of the agreement and entered a handwritten temporary agreement into the record. No official agreement has been entered into the record, though, as of right now. So the agreement is not in on the record, and the charge has not been canceled. And then on January 26, 2026, closing arguments were held in Youngman's case, meaning that 3 months after the tentative agreement, Youngman's charges stayed in place and his trial proceeded with no interruption. So on February 3rd, 2026, obviously Hank submitted that request for clarification, and essentially nothing that we know of came of it. What else do we know? Well, on the February hearing, Hank did not show up. So where does that actually leave us? Well, Johnny was more interested in entertaining his audience than actually dealing with the reality of his current life situation. The dude essentially chose to act out as much as possible and do the opposite of what he should have done. Because from every legal professional I've talked to in Korea, they all said he should have been serious from the start, formally apologized, and pleaded guilty. And if he did so, everyone is saying the judge would have gone very easy on him, and realistically, he would have been back in the US right now. Because it's very important to note, the Korean legal system works very differently from the US legal system. And Johnny has even admitted to this himself.
If I would have pleaded guilty to everything, I'm 100% telling you guys, I would have been in America already. I would have been in America already right now.
But apparently he said he was happy he didn't do that because he didn't believe the police were competent enough to actually convict him. So instead, he went on to do this.
But like, I'm actually glad I pled not guilty because like I said, these don't have evidence. Like you can say like, okay, the people are gonna say, oh, they have the 4K video you recorded. They barely even have that. They have like quality or like 10-second clips. Like these police are like literally.
Like, come on, are we serious now?
But obviously, instead of doing that, no, he chose to go on stream and say, F the judge.
Shout out the president, you, the judge, the prosecutor, y'all can suck my. Tell them what the charges is.
Carrying a fish and causing anxiety.
Causing anxiety by carrying a fish. Tell the judge you can suck my. I'll bring a fish to your mother's house. I don't care.
Then he showed up extremely late and obviously hungover to his first day on trial and tried his hardest to make a mockery of South Korea. Then on top of that, he's already admitted to lying to judges before.
I was in prison from September 22nd to January 10th. No
Are you allowed back into Japan?
Yes.
How'd you get out of that?
I had to the U.S. Embassy and a paid lawyer. I lied to the judge. The lawyer said, lie to the judge and apologize, say that you're sorry. I don't give a all I told him, I said, yo, I'll never make a YouTube video again. I'll never I was selfish. I was streaming people in public and being disruptive. I played music in a restaurant. I'm so sorry. I don't give a about this. Shut the up. And I'll be back soon. And when I come back, it's going to be like Godzilla, tsunami coming back. You better close the border.
Again, he's making his life so much harder to entertain a couple people online. But I guess his great plan to get out of all of this was to continue to act out.
And this guy on Twitter was like, yo, careful, Johnny. If you post too much anti-Korean content on the internet, you might get deported and banned from leaving the country. And I'm thinking like, that's great. I think I need to crash out harder, chat. What do y'all think? Because obviously I'm not crashing out enough. Because you know what's crazy? When I went to the police station, it was a while back. And they were like, oh, you've been very quiet. Like, you've been very quiet. We noticed. Like, the police told me that. I'm like, I want to go home. But it seems like that's the wrong. I think I need to crash out more. Because if I crash out more, it seems like they're going to be forced to do something. I showed you guys this article the other day. They're saying they're going to ban people and deport them if they say bad stuff about Korea. So I think I just need to say more bad stuff, do more bad stuff. That's what this is motivating me to do.
How is this guy a real person? How does he not understand that his actions actually have consequences, and trying to be this funny internet guy to entertain a few people online is absolutely not worth it whatsoever? I'm honestly kind of shocked that he came to this conclusion. And I guess he just did so because the dude even challenged so many people to come find him way too many times.
Come catch me. Come catch me. Come. Come. Yo, please.
So where does that even leave us? Well, you have people arguing that he could actually get a whole lot more time than what the prosecutor recommended. What did the prosecutor recommend? Well, the prosecutor was recommending 3 years of prison with labor and 5 years on the SO registry in South Korea, which then follows with a deportation after all fines and time is served, and a permanent ban from South Korea. And now it's currently being reported by South Korean media that he had his mom write a letter to the judge to help get him out. So what will happen to him? Well, honestly, if you ask me, I have no idea. I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if he got a slap on the wrist, because that's what happened in Japan, and he's already been stuck in Korea for over a year now. But logically, one would think that he would get somewhere in the ballpark of what the prosecutor recommended, considering he did the opposite of what you're supposed to do every step of the way throughout this entire trial. Like, if this was a game and you had option A and option B, and then option A was the good answer and option B was the bad answer, this guy picked the bad answer to every single thing along the whole way. I guess to unlock a special ending at the end of it. And he's about to unlock that special ending for the game, because we'll find out what happens on April 15th. So subscribe and turn on notifications if you want to be notified immediately, because we will absolutely be covering this. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.